Horn already went off. It's on. 30-minute matchup. One-on-one heats. Wilson versus Jadson Andre. Wilson, the regular foot from Australia, finished runner-up in the world last season. And Jadson Andre, a comeback story once again to the top 34, will be on his back end when he ended up going down to Nat Young. Last season was upset by the wild card Mikey Wright in the third round when he was wearing yellow, which was a big scalp for Mikey Wright, taking down the current #1 in the world last season. Lots changed since then. Wilson trying to get a quick start, taking advantage of the lights turning on. Wilson on his second wave, frontside carve to tail release. Hits the section in front of him and gets out. So just trying to stay active. And like he said, it's fun to see this start for Wilson. Sometimes you feel like he gets caught up with waiting for just the best waves, and sometimes he just comes out of the water in a heat loss, didn't really perform.
You know, even if it is a smaller wave, he's, feeling his board out, getting his feet in the wax, which I love to say. A couple of nice little turns there, nothing too crazy. So Julian is just going to keep plucking away. Underneath our priority, every time he stands up, he's going to try and crank it up a bit more. Beautiful searing maneuver there. See those fins popping out there.
Jadson Andre looking for his first ride of the morning. Clean backhand snap right off the lip. Out in front, down carve to set up a little carve off the top. Delta coping again. One of the quickest surfers on tour, Jadson Andre, 29 years of age. Similar generation as Julian Wilson. Qualified back in 2010 and had a huge victory over Kelly in Brazil that same season. What happened here, Potts?
Beautiful opening maneuver there from Jadson Andre. A little bit bigger wave than what Julian's been picking up. Finishing nicely. So 3 solid maneuvers there from Jadson. I think the benefit that the goofy footers have, which is someone that stands with their right foot forward, their back to the wave, it allows them to get that board a little bit more vertical. You saw Julian's turns were a bit more sort of horizontal, where he kind of snapped it back into the pocket. With these goofy footers, they tend to get that board a bit more vertical, and in a way it's almost an advantage here at Keramas, especially when it's this kind of size. Harder to do on your front side, so you're going to see the natural footers more of that big slashing maneuvers to try and keep that down the line momentum, where on your backhand you can pivot. You can see how Jadson gets that upper part of his body
and came out over the foam ball.
What a special venue. We'll talk to Strider in a moment, because we've got Jadson teeing off the lip. Perfect vertical start. Jams it off the top. Here comes the backhand kick out. So 2 turns to back up his start. Andre didn't need much for the lead. We'll see that change with 23 minutes to go. Waves on the way. Priority with Wilson. So Jadson can look, but it's Julian's turn. Bowling section already approaching in front of him. Clean carve back into the power source. Frames it up vertically. Third turn, carve to tail release. End section already approaching. He'll hit it off the top and end up incomplete. But nice seeing a wave with a little bit more wall that he could spend some time on. A 3-3-1 or better gets him back to first.
Have a look at this wave here from Julian. Definitely the best wave of the heat so far. Beautiful opening maneuver. And then it bowls out for him, so it allows him that nice vertical snap. And again, just busting the tail out. Didn't quite finish it off. So a little bit of a hiccup towards the end of the wave, but a lot of damage done. 3.31, a no-brainer here for Julian Wilson. Watch this turn as he jams the fins and then throws the tail out. Just gives it that extra little kick at the end. Puts him in perfect position for this next maneuver. Read this wave perfectly. Just didn't push it too hard on that second maneuver, and then again the third one, just kicking the tail out. So identifying the fact he's on his way to a good score, didn't want to muck that up, so finishing strong. Julian Wilson there, 3 big turns. We're going to see a definite lead change after that.
5.83 for the last of Wilson, got him out front. Andre with priority. Wilson under Jaddy's watch. We'll take this one and just a little bit too deep. Potts, it feels like there's a couple of different spots you can sit when you're waiting for sets, or sometimes those medium-sized waves. So Julian does have some options here under priority. They still will be winning a lot of heats, but moving on at the top of their game. 14:40 on the clock in this one. Wilson free to roam under priority. Looking to better a 3.17 on this wave. He's got a ramp. Clear for takeoff. Big slob punt. Perfect landing. I love when Julian frames up that aerial, grabs for that toe side rail with that left arm. Loves a clean slob. He featured that a lot at the Surf Ranch last year.
Yeah, you can tell him setting it up. You can see that stance getting wider and wider. Grabs with that front hand. And that is what defines the kind of aerial that it is. Sort of grabs between his 2 feet. You can see as he gets that. He doesn't go all the way to the bottom of the wave either. Almost drone high was that air. Lands on the roof, which is a very difficult thing to do, to come down through that bounce and that transition.
What a beautiful Sunday morning for pro surfing. We've got the round of 32 underway. Julian Wilson and Jadson Andre kicking things off for us. Be followed by Yago Dora, Michael Rodriguez, Carmichael, David Silva. Wilson into the pit with some travel time. And somehow sneaks out. Coming back from break. To find Wilson in the pit is a great sign here at Karamas. We're at the right size where the tube is going to be coming into play, and we just saw it used there first thing in the morning. Now the barrel factor, Potts.
Yeah, well, the barrel factor, this is what kind of we have been waiting for, Joe. Once it starts doing this, I mean, that was incredible. The way he read that, just snuck underneath the lip. And see, it almost touched him on the top of the head. But Julian, one of the best tube riders in the world, he's a pipe master, and that is exactly why. Took off, jammed it under there, snuck under the lip, and then just slotted himself perfectly in the tube. This is great signs right now, Joe, that this place is going to light up as that tide starts pushing in. I can't agree with that, Strider, but then it comes down to the time frame. Like, running out of time is going to be really the enemy for Jadson Andre. If he sits there any longer, then he's going to have to just do that Hail Mary effect where he's going to look for one massive maneuver or one good wave. You can see him trying to will that wave, splashing the water around, trying to create some sort of energy.
World number 1 coming into stop number 3. Waves on the way. Andre has been very patient and setting up his backhand attack. Sets it up off the top, harder off the bottom. There's the big vertical fin throw. Holds the bottom turn, attacks it off the lip. And now a little redirect just to stay on his feet for the finish. Clean backhand surfing for Andre. 3:44 to go.
Yeah, Jadson kicking and splashing, trying to get some energy going. 3.5 on the clock, Joe. Is that going to better his 3.07? It's a bigger wave. First turn, just kind of setting up this maneuver. That's better, nice and vertical from Jadson Andre. And again, tagging that lip. Now, you've got to be very careful on your backhand. It's hard to mix it up. The judges want to see variety. They don't want to see the same turn time and time again. So Jadson's got to be careful with that. Nice sort of opening maneuver, just extending the body, setting up this one right here, and watch how vertical the board goes. That's better there, kicking the tail out the back, throwing a lot of spray out the back of the wave there, did Jadson Andre. And again, that backside snap, so kind of go into that. It's his go-to maneuver for sure, but he's got to be very careful not to keep replicating it.
From what we've seen in his video parts, with priority, Julian will keep Jaddy off his wave. Quick vertical off the top. There's the fin throw. He's down. And that'll leave Jadson about 10 seconds.
Yeah, just a bummer there for Jaddy. You know what it was, Joe? The start of the heat. Julian rolled the dice first, got that 0.5. And everyone would have thought, well, that was a mistake. But, at Karamas, it's always better to get the ball rolling early. Even without priority, you can still do a lot of damage. And Julian did exactly that.